I am all about the little things on this channel. I talk a lot about how the little things really do have the power to change your life. The little things make a big difference along those lines. Today we are going through 15 little habits that have changed my life. The first is putting a 10-minute timer on before I go on Twitter or Instagram. And then when that timer goes off, I have to think, okay, am I turning the timer off and carrying on with this behavior, with scrolling, being on Twitter, engaging in whatever argument, or, hearing people's questionable views? Do I want to carry on doing that? Or am I, now that I've been on this for 10 minutes, am I now going to close the app and move on? Having the timer go off prompts a moment of self-reflection, which really is life-changing, instead of just getting sucked into the algorithm of scrolling on reels or scrolling your feed. Reading every day is a life-changing habit. I notice when I am not reading, I don't even have to read for a long time, even just reading like a chapter or a couple chapters, or even like 10 pages, even 5 pages. Reading fuels me. When I'm busy, it can often be something that I cut out or that I say I don't have time to do. There's something about like forcing yourself to sit down and be still and look at something, focus on it without any distractions or any music or anything like that, just to sit in silence and like focus on one thing, that really helps center me. And I actually really enjoy it, because I enjoy learning if I'm reading a non-fiction book, but I also enjoy the escapism of reading fiction. Reading every day, such a little habit, but really helps me. Taking action instead of waiting to feel like it or waiting to feel motivated. I've learned through many failed attempts to do things, action comes before motivation. Once I have some momentum with whatever task I need to do, whether that's editing or cleaning, going for a walk, once I've built some momentum, I then feel motivated. Like, the motivation comes afterwards. A little habit is to stop thinking about like, oh, I'll do that when I feel like it. I think it's a Mel Robbins trick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take the action. Like, stop thinking about it, take action, motivation comes afterwards. Don't take things personally. This is life-changing. It makes your life so much more peaceful, because you realize that what other people think of you or what other people's reactions are, it really doesn't have that much to do with you. This idea of don't take things personally, it's from the 4 agreements. It's one of the agreements, one of these new agreements that you can make with yourself. It will make your life so much easier. I will link the book in the description. That book is brilliant. Choose not to take it personally. Life-changing. Making my bed every morning. Such a little thing. Takes like, a minute to do if I want to put my pillows on nicely. It helps me feel more organized. It helps my room look tidier. Helps me feel more put together. It's like something to check off your list straight away and be like, yes, like I'm doing things today. Don't make your bed like immediately after you get out of it. Let it breathe for a bit, Making my bed. Life-changing habit. Taking time outside in the morning. So if you can, go for a short walk or a long walk if you want. I don't know if you like getting up early. If you don't, you could just sit outside and have your breakfast. Is there like a bench nearby you could walk to and sit there, look at the light, look at the leaves? Obviously, this is clearly dependent on the weather. If it's a bit of a miserable day, you could still go for a short walk, or even just like opening your windows, like getting fresh air basically. But ideally, like actually stepping outside, particularly if you can go to like a green space with lots of trees. There's something really calming about it to me. It definitely makes a difference to my mental health. So if you can do that, highly recommend. Life-changing daily habit. Have candles on during the day. I currently do not have one on because I want to put on my evening candle later, so I don't want too many different scents going on. Particularly when I'm working, having a candle on brings something nice to my day. And I know I work from home, so this is probably not possible to do if you're working in an office, to bring a candle in. But then you can do, as I'm going to do later, have like a candle you're going to light in the evening. The one I have is like a sleep candle, so it's just a really nice like lavender based eucalyptus, I think, smell. It's just something about like adding some life or adding some movement, some warmth. There's like a spiritual side to it. If that resonates with you, brings some joy to my day, and it's such a little thing. Even like a tea light, it doesn't have to be a fancy candle. If you are someone who has watched my videos before, you will know that I have to include journaling on a list like this. Journaling is such a little thing, but it has definitely changed my life. I would recommend gratitude journaling if you just want to get started with something, because that's so easy to do. You could take a minute to write down like 5 things you're grateful for today, or if 5 things seems too much, write down 3 things, or just pick one thing from your day that you really appreciate. Journaling is a really life-changing habit and has made a huge difference for me. I do like a variety of different things. I do gratitude journaling, I do scripting, which I love. I've recently got well into affirmations. I will link my latest Little Things episode where I talk more about affirmations and how much they've really been helping me, particularly at work, and to have like a good attitude, and reminded me of how your mindset can determine your reality. The material circumstances can stay exactly the same, but your mindset can determine whether you're going to have a good day or a bad day or an easy day or a difficult day or an annoying day. It really does make a big difference. I have a whole journaling playlist because I've done quite a few videos about this. So I will link the playlist in the description, and I will also link my how to start journaling in 2024 video. Wearing perfume every day is a little thing that I love because it makes me feel like the main character. It makes me feel like I'm putting in some effort. And I'm really like a scent person. Like I talked about candles earlier. Someone recently gave me some like mood mists. I have like a pillow spray. Like I'm really into different scents. I think it can influence your mood, but it's also like a small thing. You know, if I've got like a nice candle going and I'm having a rubbish day, then when I come into my room, I'm like, oh, it smells really nice in here. Wearing perfume every day is along those same lines. Putting on some perfume, I'm like, oh, it gives me a little boost. Asking for help is a little thing, but it's also so difficult to do. And this has really changed my life. I'm still wanting to be better at this, but I'm certainly better at it than how I used to be. Asking for help, just expressing your needs clearly, being like, I am struggling with this. Asking directly, being like, I don't know how to do this, please help me. Or I'm feeling a lot, please can we talk about it? Something simple like that. It's a little thing, but it makes a big difference. Waking up early, having slow mornings, doing some stretching, having tea in bed, or reading my book. We talked about reading earlier. Really key for me. Waking up earlier is something that I've been doing for the past few weeks. I would say, yeah, probably over a month now. I've been waking up at like 7 o'clock and I love it. It just helps me feel grounded and gives me some time before work or before the day gets started. Time to myself to reflect, to do whatever I want. You know, if I want to spend an hour scrolling on Twitter, fine. But equally, I've then got time to read if I wake up at 7, right? I can read for an hour, I can go for a walk, or if I want to do nothing, that's okay too. I'm really glad that I've got into this habit. On the other side of the day, from waking up early, doing a 10-minute tidy before bed. Gretchen Rubin talks about this in her book, The Happiness Project. She talks about how just taking 10 minutes to wind down before bed, to put everything in its place, it actually makes a big difference. And you might be like, what's 10 minutes of tidying or 10 minutes of clearing up? What's that going to do? These little things have a cumulative effect. Same with, I think, gratitude lists, or gratitude as a practice has a cumulative effect. The little things add up to big things. The little things are important. The little things make a big difference. I mentioned getting up early and sometimes I do nothing. You know, sometimes it's a waste of a morning and I think, oh, I could have been more productive. I don't judge myself for that. You know, if I spend an hour on Twitter, that's not ideal, but it's like, okay, what can we learn from that? You know, don't judge yourself. Notice these habits, notice the unconscious things that are happening and try and work out why. Sometimes I think it's helpful to have a lazy day or a lazy morning or a rest day. So this morning I woke up feeling pretty awful, but I was just like, you know what, it doesn't matter, you know, because I was in quite a lot of pain. I'm like, it doesn't matter if I don't do anything this morning. So I put on a Studio Ghibli film, had my curtains shut, was like, I'm just gonna focus on this film. And yeah, is it very decadent to watch a film in the morning? Yeah, but aside from all of that, I was like, I don't have to get anything done right now. I'm just going to let myself rest because that is what my body needs. And you know what? I did that and I felt awful for most of the morning, but I then started to feel better. And now I'm filming a YouTube video. So like allowing myself that time to rest without judgment, without shame, without like being like, oh, I wish I could do this or I should be doing something else, just accepting things as they are, being like, we're going to have a rest morning. We're going to have a lazy day, like the whole day if necessary. Allowing myself that time gave my body the rest it needed. And then as the day's gone on, I'm like, oh, actually, I'm feeling okay. I do want to film this video. Just trying to tune in more with your body and giving yourself space to rest, permission to rest. That is a really life-changing like little mindset shift in terms of it being a habit. I know certain days, I know I'm going to have less energy or I know I'm going to be in pain. So on those days, I let myself rest. I designate them as a rest day or a lazy day, a pajama day, whatever you want to call it. That's a life-changing habit to actually schedule those days in. Another life-changing little habit, remembering the bigger picture. So if I am not in an argument with, but like if something is happening and I'm feeling a bit contentious, you know, a disagreement with someone else, do I want to be right? Do I want to win this argument, or do I want to like resolve this and move forward with this person? Because for me, the two biggest things I struggle with, like in terms of character defects, are fear and pride. Pride is popping up all over the place. It can do that, particularly in relationships with other people, in terms of like wanting to be right or wanting to be understood, wishing that other people could see things the way that I saw them. That's all pride. And I need to remember the bigger picture. Trying to zoom out a bit is like a daily practice to remember like what's important. The most important thing here is to like have a good relationship with this person, is to make a positive impact, is to bring light or bring joy, not to be right or convince them of anything. Another life-changing little habit is podcast walks. So if you are gonna wake up early and have a slow morning, like I have said has been helping me, you could go for a walk and listen to a podcast which has like an uplifting message. I quite like the Glow Up Secrets podcast. It really helps my mental health to go for a walk every day. I highly recommend it, and also doubly helps because then I'm listening to a podcast that I find really interesting and helps me reflect, reminds me that change is possible. Or listening to a podcast like I listened to The Daily from the New York Times the other day, and I found an episode, because a lot of that is quite political and that can, you know, make me feel a lot of things and be angry or sad or upset. But I found one that was talking about whales and about how whales have their own language. Scientists are hoping to be able to communicate with whales. Like they want to use, this is where it's contentious, they want to use AI to analyze these whale sounds that they have to try and work out if whales have an alphabet and are like speaking to each other. That is something that was just like interesting, informative. If you can find a podcast like that about a topic that you care about, or even a topic that you don't care that much about, but actually listening to the podcast episode, you will then be really engaged and it will make you care about it. I don't know, maybe this is just me because I like learning things, but I was like, oh my gosh, I was not really bothered about like a whale sounds. Like that's not something I think about a lot, like the way whales communicate with each other. But listening to this 30-minute episode, I was like, that is really actually quite interesting, and I was really engaged with that. Podcast walks, another little life-changing habit. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please like this video if you liked it. And if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. God bless. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.